Well, it's a nice Sunday, November the 8th, October the 8th. Nice day for a ride, just to share my story about my cancer. Did my first YouTube video last week on Sunday. That was my introduction. At the time that video was taken, I was at home in Virginia. Riding my Ultra Classic, 2014 Harley Ultra Classic on the Blue Ridge Parkway. Right now I'm back in Tennessee. I'm down here for work, working at the Oak Ridge National Facility for Y12, doing an upgrade. Been down here since January, probably be here another year. Bought a camper. I'm living in a camper here. Have my 2022 Harley Davidson Pan America Special. That's what I'm riding now. Been struggling with the wind noise in the audio. Hopefully today I've addressed that. I put extra insulation around the microphone, so we'll see what happens with that. My cancer story begins in about December 2016. I was working in North Dakota. Started noticing blood in my stool when I went to the bathroom. Plus I was having partial and misshapen stool like I never had before in my life. So it got worse. The job ended in January of 2017. Then I was down in Tennessee working on the job and managed to get an appointment with the family doctor at home in February. Told him what was going on. He said it was probably just blood from hemorrhoids. He didn't bother to do any tests or any kind of finger test or anything. He just said he would schedule me an appointment or referral for the surgeon to do a colonoscopy. So he did that, and my meeting with the surgeon wasn't until the first week of May. This is all 2017. So in May 2017 I met with the surgeon, and he said it was probably blood from hemorrhoids, but we wouldn't know until we got in there. So two doctors told me it was blood from hemorrhoids. He told me to go out and get with the girls and get scheduled for a colonoscopy. Well, the girls were busy, but they scheduled me, but I couldn't get in for the colonoscopy until August the 3rd, 2017. So, went back, kept getting worse. Towards the end of July, I was finished with the job in Tennessee, so I came home like the 28th of July, I think. And I was getting ready for my appointment on the 3rd, and they called and wanted to extend the appointment because they had too many people. But my wife Paula handled the call and told them no going, that I'd waited long enough, and so they agreed to do the colonoscopy on the original appointment. So I went for the colonoscopy on August the 3rd. Of course, they put me to sleep, and when I woke up to the surgeon shaking my feet, saying, "Wake up, wake up. Got something to tell you." He He said, "We found a mass, and it's huge, and we're sure it's cancer. We need you to get in for a CT scan, and in the meantime go home and kiss your grandbabies. You might not be here in a year." Well, that's not the kind of news you want to wake up to, but as you go through life, you're dealt with things, and that's what you have to handle. So that night we went out to dinner with some family, but didn't tell them. And after dinner, spent the evening laying on the bed crying with my wife Paula praying over me. So we went back and had a CT scan, and then about 10 days later we had a consultation with the surgeon, and he said it was too deep down in the rectum, and he didn't have the skills that I needed to do what I needed. So he wanted to give us a reference for a second opinion. So after talking about different hospitals, we settled on the Cleveland Clinic because they were the only ones that did the colorectal, the ones he referenced. I don't know why he bothered to reference the other ones. And we got an appointment at the Cleveland Clinic, Cleveland, Ohio. So we drove up for our appointment and met our surgeon. The first thing he said was he didn't trust just their tests and their scans, and he wanted to do his own, so he knew what he was dealing with. So he asked me to take a couple enemas in the office there, and then got up on a table, and there was the doctor and the radiation doctor and the oncologist and a couple nurses and my wife and me, and we all saw my tumor on a big color TV screen, and right next to it was the ulcer. The tumor had created the ulcer to feed it so it could grow. It was just an inch or so inside the anus on the wall of the rectum, so if they had done the finger test originally, they would have found it 6 months earlier. But that's life. So, the doctor consulted with the radiation doctor and oncologist about a plan of action. They decided that I should start with some chemo and radiation. So they prescribed 28 treatments, and for each treatment I would take 8 chemo pills, 4 in the morning and 4 in the evening, and have a radiation treatment. The only thing we was wondering about was where would we stay while we're in Cleveland. So we scheduled the first treatment, and in the meantime spent some time trying to find a place to stay. Looked for long-term hotel stays, but they were very expensive. I had the credit cards and I could do it, but it would have been thousands of dollars. So we found a hotel that was south of Cleveland, made for truckers mostly. It was about half the price. We decided to go up on Sunday before our treatment on Monday to check out that hotel. Well, we checked it out and decided it was not something that we wanted to stay at. There was too much drugs and debauchery going on there. At least it looked like it. So we headed on to Cleveland, but the phone rang. They had us a room ready at the Hope Lodge. Our radiation doctor had submitted me for approval for the Hope Lodge, which is American Cancer Society facility designed to house patients while they're getting treatments. There's no cost to you. She had got us approved, and it was perfect timing. So we went to the Hope Lodge. You had a bedroom with double beds and a bathroom, but all the eating facilities were in communal kitchens so that all the patients could interact together in a dining area. So we stayed there while I had my treatments, and it became a routine way of living and dealing with your facilities and your feelings. And you had people to talk to bounce it off of, and they in turn had somebody to talk to. I never lost any hair or any weight or was sick because I couldn't eat. Unlike other people who had the same chemo I had, they would be sick and lose hair and weight. So I always told them I wasn't a patient, I wasn't sick, I just had a traveler that was residing in my body and I needed to get rid of it. So after 28 treatments, the last one ended on October 20th, which was my birthday, 2018. I was 54 years old. Then we came back home to rest and let the radiation take its time and do what it's designed for. I did have irritation in the bowel area as a result of all the radiation, and for 10 days or so it would hurt to go to the bathroom and I would sit on the commode and cry. But that's the only pain I had the whole time. So the idea was we would go for a checkup in December after it's healed for a couple of months and see if everything was good enough so that we could have surgery in January to get rid of the affected tissues in the rectum. So we went back to the Cleveland Clinic, sat in our doctor's office again with the camera and the analyst, and they went to see how much of the chemo and radiation worked on the tumor. Well, when they did the camera and looked for it, it was gone. The tumor was gone, the ulcer was gone. The only way they could figure out where it used to be was to look at the notes from the previous visit where he marked the distance on his camera. So when he did that and went back, all there was some scar tissue. So the radiation and chemo had taken care of it. However, the rectum and associated tissues had already been affected with it. So they went ahead and planned for the surgery. The surgery was scheduled for January the 8th, 2018. And we went to Hope Lodge the night before. They had a room for us.